When you're pitching to an investor, you will hear things like CAC, MAU, LTV, and you're wondering, what the hell are these people talking? Is it even English? Well, these are very common finance terminology, which if you're not from a finance background, you might not know. But as a business owner, as a startup CEO, you must know these things and you should be able to answer them very, very fluidly and back it up with facts and figures. They make the judgment call based on these facts and figures, based on these numbers. And as a data-backed, tech-enabled, scalable business, you should be able to answer these questions fluidly to the investor. Now, of course, there'll be moments when you don't know. It's okay to say, I'll find out for you, get back to you in 24 hours. But for now, I'm going to explain to you what are these keywords and what they mean and how to use it in an investor pitch. First is, what's your month-on-month growth? Month-on-month growth means every month, how much is your revenue growing by percentage, by amount, etc. You should know. What's your burn rate? That means every month, what are your fixed amount of money that you burn? Rent, internet, server costs, salaries, etc. What is your ARR? So that's your annual recurring revenue. So let's say you're a servicing business where every year you get a certain amount from the customer that they pay. So that's your annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue. If there's a subscription model, right, you can have somebody paying you on a monthly basis for whatever services you offer. So that's your MRR. Another one is CAC, customer acquisition cost. So how much money does it take for you to acquire one customer? That means your Facebook ads, your Instagram, maybe billboard, maybe newspaper, all of that put together, coming to a salesperson, that person's salary, that person making so much sales, according to their salary, you have to divide that, and on average basis, what is the cost for acquiring one customer is something you have to derive. And that gives the investor an understanding, this is what it takes. And the next question immediately follows is, what's the lifetime value of the customer, LTV? Lifetime value means a customer stays with you, let's say for 3 years, for 2 years. In that period of time, they spend X amount of money with you, and that's called the LTV. So let's say you're acquiring a customer for 100 rupees and the customer is spending 10,000 rupees with you over the period of their lifetime, that is 3 years, 5 years, whatever. Then you know that it's absolutely worth spending not only 100 rupees, but up to 500 rupees or even 1,000 rupees to acquire that one customer, because they're going to spend over the next 3, 5, 6 years with your company. So CAC, customer acquisition cost, LTV, lifetime value of a customer. With this, the investor understands how good you are, how profitable you might be, and how adept, how much need your product and service has in the market, that people can be acquired for less and can, the revenue can be generated from them. If you're an app company, if you're a tech-enabled, scalable app company, one of the things you'll be asked is, what's your DAU/MAU? Now that sounds funny, but DAU means daily active user and MAU means monthly active user. So it's a very important metric, especially if you're a B2C company having an app, because let's say I book my show, right? When do people use book my show? Generally Thursday to Sunday, right? Because they want to watch movies of the weekend, they go on their app, they plan their weekend and they go for it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe not so much. So, but do they watch movies every weekend? No, it might be once a month. So the monthly active users might be higher than the weekly active user. Now, compare that to Uber. People who use Uber to go to work. Daily active usage would be much higher, right? For Uber-like app than a Book My Show-like app. So depending on the business model, your DAU/MAU will also give the investor an understanding of how good your business is, how much is it in demand, what kind of revenue, what kind of growth prospect you might have. Then comes, people will ask you about, how much revenue you're making, what is your gross profit, what is your net profit, what is your EBITDA, right? Now, again, not being from the commerce background is not a problem. These are very easy things. Your revenue is what you sell. Let's say you're selling 5 crores worth of revenue, but then you're having to pay, if you're a service business or a product business, the cost or the salaries might be, let's say 3 crores. So 2 crores is your gross profit. That means this has come to the company. Now from that gross profit, there will be, taxes, interest and other things. And then comes actually the net profit, which is the ultimate profit that you have as a business owner. So your revenue, your gross profit, then your net profit. EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization. Now, for a CA, that might mean a lot of things. For a business owner, if you're a simple startup, don't worry too much about it. It's basically your gross profit, 90%. I'm not being accurate, but That's how you understand it. Your CA will do the filings and all that, but for you to know what is your EBITDA when an investor asks you, just tell them what is the amount of gross profit that you're making, and after that, everything else will come down to your net profit. Hope this helps you understand some of the basic acronyms that are used in an investor pitch. You should be ready to answer these questions. Saying you're an engineer and you don't know these things is not an answer. You must know this when you're running a business. Your finances matter. You should know all the data at your fingertips. And based on that dynamism, based on that understanding, how quickly you have access to all the information about your company, an investor can trust you with their money or not. So treat this seriously, know these acronyms, and I wish you all the best with the investor pitch.